friends, and welcome to my channel. Our judicial system is set up to provide people the opportunity to have a fair and good and just trial. But very rarely it's a case. And one of those cases that really illustrates this to a T, and that is the case of Mackenzie Shirilla. Now, the one thing that is common with all criminal cases is that you need to have a burden. The government's burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. And if there's a jury, they're usually given a jury instruction from what I saw on various other YouTube channels, something that goes like this. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt is that you are completely convinced of one's guilt, but it is not necessary that the government prove beyond all possible doubt. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt is based solely on reason, common sense, and not speculation. Going through all these lawyer channels, I have come to the conclusion that in understanding that beyond a reasonable doubt must be proven independently for each of the three elements that are in a charge. For example, Mackenzie was charged with aggravated murder, 2 counts. Now, what I'm if there's any lawyers out there, please feel free to let me know if I've got this wrong. But an aggravated murder charge, I would think, has 3 elements. And that is that she was intended to do this, that she pre-planned, premeditated, and of course, that she did this. Let's take a look at each of these 3 elements and see if she was convicted on people's opinion of her, on the speculation that the prosecution wanted to place on her, or by judicial fact. Now, being that she had a bench trial, I find it very difficult to know that a judge would not know the legal definition that they have for beyond a reasonable doubt. And if this was a jury trial, sadly to say, I think she still would have been convicted because of the fact that I don't have a lot of confidence in people's reasoning and common sense in today's society. I definitely know for sure that there's no way that I would have been allowed to sit on this trial, because chances are I would have really been hammering away at the prosecution. Let's start off with the first element, that she was looking to harm these boys. Now, the prosecution claims that Mackenzie and Dominic had a toxic relationship. They pointed out a couple of things that would kind of point out to that she intended to harm these boys. First thing, that 3, 4, everybody seemed to agree on one point, that she was crazy, that she was manipulative, that she was self-absorbed, that Dominic didn't even want to have anything to do with her, and that she even threatened to hurt herself or hurt Dominic if he broke up with her. The second thing that I noticed a lot of people say was she was a crazy driver. She was a dangerous driver. She was a reckless driver. Now we see that it was kind of a reckless incident when she crashed, but before that, she was still considered a reckless and crazy driver. 2 days or 2 or 3 days, there was also an incident to where she violently attacked Dominic on the road. There was an incident regarding Mackenzie violent behavior. Then there's a social media post that shows her dancing, partying, mentioning stuff about accident, drugs, and a variety of other things. Let's take each one of these things one at a time. She's crazy. She threatened to harm Dominic if he ever broke up with her. If Dominic was really concerned about his life, and the mother of Dominic concerned about his life, did they ever seek counsel to get a protection order or restraining order against Mackenzie. So Mackenzie cannot legally have any association with Dominic. No? The first thing that I would say to that without that evidence is that you want me to speculate. Just take our word for it that she was crazy, she was self-absorbed, and she was narcissistic. She was violent a couple days before the accident. After that violent episode, did you take the initiative to call the police to file and press charges of a possible domestic violence charge against Mackenzie? No? All right, again, just take our word for it. Don't worry about the little details. Just take our word for it. She was a crazy driver and reckless driver. What is her driving record look like? How many violations does she have? Does she have outstanding parking tickets? Does she have outstanding speeding tickets? Has she been in multiple other accidents leading up to this? Oh, I got it. Just take our word for it. Just speculate that we're telling the truth. Social media. Now, she was in an accident, a serious accident at the end of July, a couple days before her birthday. Where is the date that says that this is post-accident? Because I know someone that was in a serious car accident when I was younger, when I was like 25 or so, and it took him quite a while to come out of a coma, to be able to get his life together, and to overcome everything related to the crash. But let's just kind of see this through logically. We'll just ignore July. So August, September, October. So in 3 months, in 90 days, she goes from being into a car accident at 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, she is up, walking, dancing, and having a good time with friends. There was instances about her calling a modeling agency. After you're in a serious car accident and you're going to be able to call a for modeling agency, a career or something after this serious tragedy? That seems like, what proof do you have that this is post-accident preferred to pre-accident? Maybe 2-3 years before this accident even occurred? Or am I supposed to just speculate that because of the various things mentioned in the video, this shows that it's post-accident? Now, just in that first element, they want me to speculate that, just take our word for it, that this video was post-accident because of the context in it without any date. What is very curious to me with this claim that they had a very toxic relationship is that during the interview with Dominic's mom and Dominic's brother, I'm assuming it's his brother,
slip of a tongue, and he's like, "Oh, she's been living with the Russo," and then mom right away kind of jumped in, was like, "No, she just visited her."
No.
Established that residence piece.
Mm-hmm.
We want to show that preceding the crash.
It's multiple places, so you know. So there's, I remember seeing shoes in the living room. I know there was purses in the back room, because when we were looking for his clothes and shoes, that's when I brought it up. And then I would like I was ready to just take it and throw the stuff out. I said, well, I don't know where this came from. I don't know who gave it to her. And I just put everything back. So I have touched the stuff, but I left it where I found it. And then, so at least in 2 rooms for sure.
Yeah. If you can maybe either take a recording of it or take pictures of it, we just want to be able to establish, hey, I said, we're not getting involved in this.
Oh, to try to go over there?
Yeah, because they wanted her driver's license. And we said, first, her dad reached out to us a couple of times, and I said, at best, you can come request an escort. We'll call Miss Russo. If she says yes, we could arrange it. If she says no, we're done. And then last time when he was kind of getting under my skin, I said, no, we're not getting involved in this. And so he had his lawyer call me. And it was the old lawyer from Columbus. And I told him the exact same thing. I said, this is not a criminal matter. We're not getting in the middle of this civil stuff. Right now, emotions are high. The Russos are grieving. This is not the right time to get her driver's license. Yeah, I mean, it's just, so I know her DL is still in,
If it came to it, would you have a problem with us coming over and just taking some pictures of her things in there?
or if you want to take fresh
you
pictures,
take them,
just get them
if
to
you
us.
or if you're okay to go in there
To show her living there.
Yeah, we really want to show
makeup. What clothes does she have? Like a jacket, or does she have, underwear and stuff where it establishes
toothbrush,
residence.
makeup, right?
She had clothes at my house, which, remember, I always maintained the room for Dom. His own
Right.
room, it's still there. But she had clothes at my house.
Okay.
I would be washing clothes, and I was washing her clothes. I can say that. And that was before he even moved next door, which we kind of just considered it all our big house
Mhm.
because he just could not sleep in the same house with Christopher. They just had a conflict and
Right.
just stressed him out too much. So
Well, and it's kind of nice that it was right next door and he could just stay there and
right, and come over for breakfast and dinner and the whole bit. And,
We just want to.
Let me see if I get this straight. So, because I don't want to put things into anyone's mouth. She's toxic. She's self-absorbed. And yet she's living at a residence with Dominic and his mother. Does that sound logical? Does that sound reasonable to anybody out there? Now, I can speak clearly for myself. If I brought a girl home when I was a teenager and told my father that, hey, I want to, live with this woman. I can't afford a house, so we're going to just live inside your house. Followed by a good head slap to the head to make sure my head was screwed on right. There then was a lot of hostility in that interview room with Dominic's mom.
And let me tell you, that rotten son of a bitch father of hers never said a frickin' word to me. I bumped into them at the cemetery. Of course, my place, I have to bump into him. And that bastard never even said, hello, how are you? I'm sorry. Nothing. Nothing. Radio silence. Not a word.
Now, let me ask you a question, and I'm not downplaying anybody. I'm just trying to look at this from a different point of view. A lot of times we need a different point of view to try to get someone's emotions and what they may have been thinking. Let's say that her father did go up and talk to Dominic's mom. With the anger that she felt and the resentment that she must have felt with the death of her son, I could see him going up and saying, I'm sorry, I apologize. And I could just see Dominic's mother look him in the eye. It's like, you don't belong here. You should just get out of here. You shouldn't even belong here because your daughter is a murderer. She killed my son. And then the father, your daughter just killed. I mean, you believe that it was unintentional, but still, her son is dead and your daughter was behind the wheel. Might have there been a little bit guilt, little bit, better just kind of stay clear and give them time to mourn. You don't want to make a scene at the funeral. You want it to be about Dominic, and you want them to concentrate on, remembering the life that Dominic had. Just for a thought. Number 2, pre-planning. The prosecution claimed that this was pre-planned, pre-orchestrated, and premeditated because Mackenzie was on this road just days before the actual tragedy. Now, I go to work 4 times a week. I take the same route each time to work. So in 1 week, I'm going the same paths, the same intersections, the same stores, maximum 8 times a week. So if I were to go on a Friday to maybe pick up some overtime, let's say, and I go out there and I kill someone by running into, losing control of my car, running into a bike, getting too close to, whatever the reason. I guess I pre-planned that murder because of the fact that I was there just days before. But that was my regular route to work. So what evidence do you provide me that supports your opinion that she was there days before this tragedy, and that shows that she murdered and pre-planned this terrible tragedy? Was that far out of the boondocks to where she should never have been there? That was not a way home. That was not a shortcut. That was out in the boondocks. She shouldn't have even been near there. She's never used that road regularly before.
Yeah, the tragedy here. But any idea why they were going down Progress to Alameda? Do you know in the past if they've used this as a shortcut to get somewhere?
Well, yeah, it tells me that they were coming, I forget if it's south or north or whatever, Pearl. Obviously, they were coming towards 82, down Pearl, and then that's just a little cut through. You go, they end up on Westwood.
Right, but I know. Do you know why they were taking that? Is this like a normal?
It's a normal cut through, yeah.
Normal cut through she's always taken.
I mean, the reason that I use it is just avoid all the Pearl lights, because you have Pearl and you go light. You turn down Progress, you go right down Prospect. You have 2 lights, and then you're home. You know what I mean? Perfect. So that's the reason why I take it. I would assume it's the same reason.
Okay.
So even the brother of Dominic says that he uses it regularly. And he even says he assumes that that's why Mackenzie was on that road. 3. Her actions cost the loss of life. Now, this is where it really gets not hilarious for me, but really just kind of where you see the reasoning of detectives and police with a 2-year education. The police, when they arrived at the scene, said that how this occurred was the gas pedal was completely depressed with Mackenzie behind the wheel. Holy cow. Imagine that. You push the gas pedal to the floor and you go cruising down the road. Genius. Absolute genius. But why? Why was her foot depressed? Why did she have her foot completely down on the pedal? Could it be because of medical reasons? I've got disophilioma. I got a form called neurocardiogenic syncope. There's also a form called POTS.
Parents were trying to give her it's okay. And she was already getting antidepressants since, I believe, middle school. All right? And, like teenage girls, they have a lot of drama going on. And to me, to be honest, like, her drama didn't seem any more than a normal teenage girl that just might be like a little high strung. Do you see what I'm saying? So, she was on, I think it was one of the 2, I forget, for like over a year. And, well, she hasn't taken them in forever either. And I'm like, well, I'm actually like, not to think much, but I'm a psychology minor. So it's like I know a little bit about this stuff, and she doesn't have any.
Thank you, Mr. Psychology minor. Well, you should know that just because you're on an antidepressant, there are a number of reasons why a doctor would place you on an antidepressant than just by your being extra depressed. The first medicine that they put me on when I was diagnosed with neurocardiogenic syncope was an antidepressant. The next thing was a steroid to help the salt, and then the third one was kind of a cardiology, I think like a cardiology kind of medicine to keep my heart at a constant, so the blood flows at a constant rate. what is disophilioma? The underlying, it is a umbrella form of a malfunction of the autonomic nervous system. What is the autonomic nervous system? It's the system that controls your various bodies functions, your blood pressure, your heart rate, your blood flow, and your many organs. That's what your autonomic nervous system does. Now, if Mackenzie or me walk past you and you're not going to think there's nothing wrong with us. But if we're dehydrated, if our blood pressure drops all of a sudden, and we start getting weak in the knees and feel like we're going to pass out, you're going to notice that there's something wrong. How about neurological disabilities? Stuff like an abnormal EEG. I've got an abnormal EEG to where they put me on seizure medication, even though I've never had a seizure. I got a nice liner in my car, and it snaps right there, so it can't go anywhere. Well, 2.5 months ago, I was driving home, and I just couldn't put my foot on the gas pedal correctly. And something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. When I got home, I got my flashlight, and I noticed that my floor mat popped up. And it would have been very possible for my gas pedal to get stuck in between the floor mat. Did that happen with Mackenzie? Where Mackenzie get her foot jammed or stuck under the floor mat? Was there a malfunction? Did the gas pedal get stuck somehow and she was trying to get it unjammed? Now, I know the prosecutor is going to look at, if he sees this, the prosecutor is going to look at some of these suggestions and say, well, you can't do that because you can't speculate different theories. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? So far, you want me to speculate that all your witnesses are just telling the truth and they're not opinions and they're complete facts. You want me to speculate that just because the social media platform has certain avenues regarding the crash without a date, you want me to speculate that that was post-accident. You want me to speculate that she was a crazy driver without any tickets or any violation of record. You want me to speculate that she was on this road just 2 days before, and that says that she's pre-planned and pre-orchestrated. It just takes reason to realize that, teens, they think they can get away with anything nowadays. Like the Slender Man murder. They specifically took their friend out and completely stabbed her and did all sorts of things and almost killed her. It was remote. If she would have died, it may have been a couple days before they found her. So wouldn't it make sense to go out away from town where it wasn't a normal route that you take? I cannot speculate that she had a medical condition, that her foot got stuck in between the floor pads, or that there was a malfunction. But the prosecution wants me to speculate that she intentionally pushed down on the floor and killed these two boys. Which brings me to another speculation. All we see in the video is her turning at a relatively slow speed and then sped past the camera right before the crash. Am I to speculate that you just lucked out that the camera happened to be right there? Am I supposed to speculate that that's the only camera out of that whole road that caught her going past that area? So if she was going to intentionally murder these boys, and if she saw the camera there. She could have easily turned right before that camera crashed, and you wouldn't have been able to convict her of murder because we wouldn't have seen the crash. We would have just seen the devastation of the car and her turning prior to going down the road. But still, despite all this arguments and everything that I pointed out, a judge still found her guilty, still sentenced her to 15 years to life, and still scolded her. I've got to be honest. I have seen complete monsters. You know, the Parkland shooter, Ethan Crumbley. I've seen judges have more compassion on these people who most definitely did the crimes that they were charged with and treated with more respect, more dignity than the judge treated Mackenzie. So now, Mackenzie, I'm sure, lawyer, is trying to file an appeal. The only problem with that, appeals take money for the court to hear the case. So my question is, I feel very confident that when Mackenzie's conviction gets overturned and the appellate court gives a judgment of acquittal, is the prosecution, not the state, but the prosecutor, going to reimburse Mackenzie and her family for that appellate cost?
You serious? What?
Well, let's just think of it logically. You know, we live in a democracy. We elect our officials. We elect county prosecutors. And what happens? There are representatives in court. They are speaking on behalf of the people to keep the society and community safe from potential dangers. So when they act as our voice, and an appellate court finds that there was misguided or official misconduct or false narrative or no evidence to back up the opinions of the testimony, and they get a judgment of acquittal, who pays for that? The prosecutor don't. So apparently we pay the prosecutor to be a representative, and then when he makes a mistake, either by neglect or negligence or just a quick investigation, we have to pay the cause of the mistake. I've got no problem with prosecutors bringing a complaint to the courts. I've got no problem with them bringing a charge to the courts. I have no problem with them prosecuting them in the jurisdiction to where the stuff happened. What I do have a problem with is the prosecution running the investigation, running their internal investigation. Let's think of it this way. When there's a train wreck, a boat crash, Baltimore, the boat that lost electricity, when there's a plane crash, any travel instigation, what happens? Does the airline, does the railroad, does the cruise line or whatever, whoever owns the boat, do they do an internal investigation and then file the findings to the federal government? No. The NTSB comes in and they do a full report. Why can't we have something like that in the court system, where when a complaint is filed by the county, the judge and the court appoint a private investigator, a neutral party, to come in and to find the facts, find the truth, and give a copy of the report and the evidence to the prosecutor, give evidence and the report to the defendant, so that everybody has everything, and then they can go through possible witness list and be able to go forward and argue about what's not relevant or what's relevant in a court of law because everybody has everything. Instead of having a prosecutor go through and just cherry pick certain evidence to get the most severe charge that they want. Now, I'm sure a lot of Mackenzie's family wants to blame the defense attorney for not questioning a lot of the evidence. But if you need any more evidence on that this prosecutor was out for financial and personal gain, don't look any further than his own statement after the sentencing and after this trial was over. After looking at all the evidence, we had no choice but to charge her in this and pursue the case in this manner. So basically, in my eyes, he's admitting that we turned a blind eye at some of the interview where it said that this was a normal pass-through. Evidence that, oh boy, we don't have a date. We completely ignored the fact that she may have had medical problems. We completely ignored the fact that was there a mechanical failure with the car? Did the accelerator get jammed or stuck somehow? We completely ignored all the facts. We wanted to try and put together a case where the judge would completely convict her based on our testimony's opinion of Mackenzie, as well as a lot of speculation. My heart definitely goes out to the Flanagan and Russo's family, as well as the Shirilla family, because you have 3 families that have been devastated here. And my intention of getting something like this in a video together is not because I want to scold Dominic's mom. It's not because I want to push back for Mackenzie's cause. It's because I just want to try and get another outlook of why things could have happened the way that they happened. Because the bottom line in a trial is that we are looking for wisdom, we are looking for the truth. And there is absolutely, positively no reason in my outlook that she should have been charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. This could have been reduced to a lesser charge, reckless driving, reckless endangering, or something like that. If you liked my output, if you liked my analysis of this very tragic case, I would like to ask a little bit of something for you. One, if you have a comment regarding what I went through in this video, leave a comment. If you want, click that bell notification for future videos. Click that like button. And click that subscribe button. Everything there takes 20 seconds. And the results and the stuff that it will do for me would speak volumes. Until next time.
When someone don't help you, when someone don't help you through the rain, when feelings don't matter and everything's nothing but a game. Just know that I'm with you. Just know that I'm with you through it all. And I'm gonna be there whenever you win or if you fall. It's all don't you worry about a thing. You get what you're given, but it's never too late to spread your wings. Wings. Oh, I know that we will make it through the storm. 'Cause you and me been fighters since we were born. It's all over our bodies and hearts. Yeah, you and me been fighters right from the start. Been fighters right from the start. I see that it's tough now, but trust me, yeah, trust